going to be getting that observer out because he is denied entry into the main base here. And DeMusliM actually fearful somewhat, so he's going to throw down another bunker. And this is really because at this stage in the game, you can actually just go for those huge sentry, a very aggressive 4-gate off of 2 base and deal a lot of damage. And because of that, you always want to really have an extra bunker just to make sure that you have somewhere else your units can retreat to.
So of course DeMusliM is going to be laying that down. It's just about wrapped up now. His stim has just begun. Over in Socke's base, he does have that robo facility also just about finished, and it's looking like he's actually already prepping to potentially take his third.
And that would actually be kind of sneaky if he can get that in. Right now he does have a good amount of minerals, but we also see a War Prism coming out here, and I'm trying to really figure out what he might drop. Maybe going for a sentry drop. He's kind of high right now on the gas. Let's see what he just warps in. Yeah, one more sentry here. That just might be for defensive purposes, though. We'll keep an eye on that War Prism as it is going to be popping out here in just a handful of seconds. And if he does go for sentry play, that would set up for a very quick third because of that extra minerals. And yeah, it looks like he will go for that 1 Stalker 3 sentry drop here in just a matter of moments.
And if he's able to get in and do a lot of damage to this, I don't think that this is something that DeMusliM is really going to be expecting right now. Clearly he's moving all of his forces to the front of his base. You just don't see Warp Prism play that often. And sentries can just make it so potent with their ability to block units out or trap units in.
Yeah.
Potentially we'll see that happen right here in the mineral field, because that's where you can deal some huge damage.
Yeah, and at this moment, Stim is looks like to be about 20 seconds out here. So he might get in there at a perfect timing here as the sentries are about to land in the mineral field. And here we go, you're going to see the force fields being dropped down. And a good trap there, completely getting all of those SCVs. He's going to start warping in some more units here, and he is just roasting and toasting these SCVs down, warping 2 more Zealots here, but now comes the Bioforces, and Socke will just have to retreat here. Oh, but is he going to lose the Warp Prism? No, it's going to be able to get away.
He left one of those Zealots down on the ground, and it just absorbed enough hits while DeMusliM was stutter stepping up towards it. DeMuslim's getting in there scouting. Does not see that Socke hasn't placed, or does see that Socke has not placed the third quite yet. And now Socke's moving all the way up into his Colossi tech. And after he puts DeMusliM behind like that, he's got to be feeling pretty comfortable after a successful drop.
And DeMusliM actually going for some aggression here, which is obviously going to be the case with those 2 medevacs out. He did not scan a robotics bay over here, but he's got to suspect, well, my opponent went for a War Prism. He does have that extra gas. Didn't make any immortals that I saw from the robotics facility. So because of that, he probably suspects some form of Colossus, which is why you saw the Starport splitting production with that medevac and that Viking. And here's DeMusliM. Looks like he might go for a small elevator style drop. He's going to be able to take out this pylon. Or no, he's just going to split up his forces there. 1 medevac going up here to the third as the factory is kind of distracting those stalkers. He's going to stim in, try to take out that Warp Prism, and will do so. And now this is not looking good for Socke here as these stalkers are being completely trapped for DeMusliM. Such smart play, but he's got to be careful. With that Colossus back there, he can lose his forces very quickly.
Oh man, that Colossus is actually just a little bit overexposed. Impressed that he hasn't stimmed and just focused it down. Yes, and there it goes right when he senses weakness, getting in there and finishing it off, lifting off part of his force, but he can actually just go ahead and fight this. I'm surprised that he lifted it off. He did drop in the main as well, unleashing total carnage down there. And he's lifting off and getting away, but it's not looking like he's going to be able to make it.
Yeah, so that medevac did fall, but right now DeMuslim's got to feel pretty good. I mean, he lost a lot of his army there, lost that drop, but he was stopping mining over here in the main, and he also killed that Colossus and really lowered that count. So once again, here he goes denying this third base, and Socke is going to have to figure out something soon. He needs to try to secure his third base because DeMusliM is already doing so with his command center.
So DeMusliM took the supply lead there, well, took the worker lead there, and that's really big for him. He had, Socke got over into his base, successfully dropped him, so DeMusliM had to get back in the game. It was smart that he brought those extra 8 Marines over into Socke's main, but you gotta wonder, would it have been more effective with the rest of the army? Because really he was so close to just being able to crush everything that Socke had, because he killed the Colossus when it was by itself. and then even lifted off 8 of his unit, or I guess it was 6, like 6 Marines and 1 Marauder.
Right.
And still almost won the fight.
Yeah, and if you think about it, if he had this extra Colossus, then this attack would be so much more devastating here. What he's of course going to do is use that range of the Colossus to start chipping away at these bunkers. SCVs will most likely have to be pulled. We see some energy using on this depot there for that additional supplies, but right now Socke hasn't moved in just yet. I think he's waiting for that +1 armor. Here we go now. He's going to start raging down these bunkers. There are some Vikings up on the high ground. SCV's pulled a little bit late, but here we go, Rob.
Oh, man, and in comes the assault from Socke. Is he going to be able to cut through DeMusliM or not? We can see him. He hasn't been using those Vikings quite yet. Now he's trying to get in there and finish off those Colossus. One goes down, but not before the other remaining Viking falls. And this is looking grim for our hero. Our Terran hero.
That's true. I mean, DeMusliM actually a huge, huge fan favorite. Socke is just like this European badass that appears in almost every tournament out there and always does so well. He's just such a mainstay when it comes to the European team. So here comes the last-ditch effort. Oh, and a great force field right here to block off some of those SCVs to get in. The Colossus is going to get focused down, and now all there remains are these Stalkers. But, I mean, this base is basically in shambles. These SCVs are going to be transferred over here. But if you look at the supply, 93 to 67, 34 SCVs to the 47 probes. Socke is in a great place right now, especially with this Colossus and 0 Vikings out for DeMusliM.
That's right. Socke's coming in for a brilliant follow-up push. Oh, and it's looking like that Orbital Command is also going to go down. A painful loss for DeMusliM, but Socke has just been doing wonderful this game. We can see DeMusliM trying to get in there and focus down that Colossus, but Socke with the quick defense, protecting it and killing everything, separating him from this victory.
They've got to get those Stalkers back in the background and let some of those Zealots tank some of these units. They're basically trying to get through this little funnel right here. He's losing a lot of Zealots for nothing at the moment. It's really delaying this sure win for Socke. The DeMusliM's Marauders are just dealing so much damage. But with this second Colossus, I think that might seal the deal. Good game. Socke taking the first match here on Antigua Shipyard. And even though DeMusliM took out that Colossus early on, I think that he lost too many units, and because of that could never really recover. Socke basically just rolled over at the natural.
Yeah, up in the main, even though that he dropped those 8 Marines and got however many probe kills, and the main also forced him to stop mining, the medevac and Marines were still picked off.
Right.
And that's a lot of resources. It was a completely full medevac. And
true.
He also lost the small army that was out at that third as well, so it was unfortunate. But Socke just played wonderful. He took advantage of every situation, pushed across the map when he saw opportunity, and sealed the deal. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go to a brief break, and then we'll be right back with game number 2 between Socke and DeMusliM. I'm Rob Simpson.
I'm JP McDaniel. We are headed to MLG Shakura's Plateau right after this break.